Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is a game with so many items. It's not as much as like Tour or World, but I think it's just the right amount. It doesn't have any items, like too many items that I think are useless, but it's definitely got a couple of items that are eh. We'll go through them one by one, and I'll give my thoughts. Starting with the classic banana. Where does this go? Well, the banana is a great defensive item. It's obviously very good for protecting against these things, red shells, but that's basically all it does. It doesn't really offer that much in the way of attacking. It definitely has the positive of, like, banana sniping someone feels so good, but, like, unless you're trapping someone specifically at a very, like, specific spot on a track, like, just thinking of one, like Warrior's Gold Mine, that one big dip at the very start. If you're on like 200cc and you're going down that dip and you see a banana, you have hardly any time to react. But I think it's so specific that it just doesn't really add up to much. So I definitely put it in the C tier. And then the green shell, also iconic. I definitely think it's better than a banana. It has more attacking versatility. Green shell snipes are easier and, in my opinion, better. But is it up to B? Because it's the same defensive abilities, just slightly better attacking. So I would put it in the C tier alongside the banana. And the other iconic item that can be used as defensive and offensive, the red shell. I think red shells, they depend on the position you're in. I feel like if you're getting them in like lower down, 7th, 8th, then you're disappointed because you want speed items, you want like stars or bullet bills or even like a shock or a bow. But no, you get a red shell, and it's like, it's good, you gain one space maybe, but if they have defense, it doesn't really help all that much. So it's best for when you're just trying to take out first place when you're in second. That's the best use for the red shell, and I think the percentages of the red shell show that. So I would put the red shell in the B tier. Next up, the coin. I think the coin is a bit overhated. I don't think it's underrated. I think it's correctly rated by most people. I just think some people overhate it on it. Because the coin obviously is bad. In Mario Kart 8, it was awful. But in 8 Deluxe, this works because you can only get one of them unless you have lag, and that sucks. The coin is just C. It's not better than these two, because like, obviously you would rather get these two when you're in first, but this is good for when you want to get your speed up, or you want just enough coins to try and extend your lead in first. When you get them in second, it sucks, but it's a great balancing tool. I think that's what matters. I think if we're talking about balancing, the coin does an excellent job, and it just feels good as an item. But it's definitely a bit unsatisfying, so you can't put it in like B or A, but it's definitely not worthy of the lower tiers. Something that is worthy of the lower tiers, this thing, the blooper, F, is awful. The blooper just doesn't do anything interesting. The blooper's just there. All it does is it puts some ink on the screen and it makes your traction slightly lower, or like your grip. And in theory, it sounds like it might be okay. Like maybe you can catch someone on a tight turn and it throws off their line. And that doesn't really has happened to me like occasionally, but very rarely. I've like one specific example is when you get bloopered on the DK Mountain shortcut. That is just like, if you are drifting up and you get hit by a blooper, that turn is so much more difficult. But there's just so few examples of that. Like most tracks, the blooper is completely useless. And the ink on the screen just makes it worse for new players. If you know the tracks and you know the layouts, you know where the turns are and the obstacles are, the bloopers ink at most is a minor inconvenience. But for new players that don't know the track layouts, you might as well just give up, honestly. It just does the opposite of what a Mario Kart item should do. It doesn't balance the playing field. It doesn't do anything of that sort. And so the blooper belongs firmly in F tier, where it belongs. The mushroom is next. The mushroom is definitely A tier. The mushroom's just great. There's so many things you can do with it. It's very versatile. You can dodge blue shells, you can take shortcuts, you can even just use it to get away from the pack of items. The mushroom's just such a balanced item. But of course, like if you're on second or third and you get two mushrooms and the person behind you gets a red shell, then you're kind of spewing. Yeah, you can wall dodge, but it's very difficult. And like I play with Teddy Buggy, and I've got no clue how to do that with Teddy Buggy. I've done it with Mr. Scooty, but so the mushroom is A. I mean, just there's so many examples. Like the mushroom gorge gap jump, obviously, is a fantastic use of the mushroom. You just drift, use the mushroom, release your drift, hop over the gap, and bam, you just skip the entire turn. And even if it's just like simple grass shortcuts or off-road shortcuts, like in Mario Circuit 3 or in like Yoshi Circuit towards the end, it's still very useful for gaining just a couple of spots, just a couple of placements. Next is the boomerang. Now, I think this is an item that's just awful in Mario Kart World, like F tier awful. But in this game, I think it's one of the best. I think it's better than the red shell. Is it A? No, I'd say B, because I feel like the boomerang's great to get, because like you've got the boomerang with 3 throws. If you really don't want it, you can just throw it away. That's the biggest problem I have with it in World, where like it's on a timer. So although you get 4 throws, it's technically more powerful. It just doesn't feel that way because you can't just throw it away and then swap to like defensive item or go to an item set and get something. You're stuck on the boomerang. And I think that versatility with the boomerang is amazing. 3 attempts and throwing it into like a pack of players is so satisfying, just seeing everyone get wiped out and you just steamroll past them. And I've definitely gotten some games against friends or in lounge where I throw the boomerang and it just snipes someone right before the line and I cross and I go from like 4th to 3rd. It doesn't really do much, but it just feels so good. And yeah, I have an affinity for the boomerang, and I'm sad what they did with it in Mario Kart World. The Piranha Plant suffers from what I just said about boomerang, where it's not able to be swapped out and it's on timer. But the difference is this doesn't have any defensive capabilities, purely offense. And it's not even like the best. Like it's a melee attack, so I think it's unique. I think it's a really good idea in theory, but what they should have done is just like this bullet bill or the star. Well, not the bullet bill, sorry, but like the star is just like you use it and then it appears at the front of your cart and then it's gone from your item slot, so you can pick up new items and even have defensive items like red shells or green shells or whatnot. But it's definitely F. It's still miles better than the blooper, but like it's just not got many practical uses. Whenever I get it, I just use it and spam L as quick as possible because I don't want it, and it's just really annoying to get. The bomb arm. The bomb arm I like, but I think it's worse than the green shell. These two are very close. I'll put it above. The only reason is because it's better offensively, slightly, but it's worse for defense because you have to be at full speed to use it properly. If you're not at full speed, then you have to drop it behind you, and that's just really annoying and inconvenient, and if you get it wrong, then you're just kind of screwed. In World, it doesn't explode you anymore, so it's so much better defensively, but here, it's definitely better than the banana, just because of the attacking capabilities. It's the same arch throw, except the bomb has the explosion, and the radius explosion of the bomb makes it really satisfying to hit someone. So yeah, C tier feels about right for it. Next up, we'll go the star. The star is definitely our first S tier item. Now, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is a game with a whole bunch of S tiers, but I feel like the star is one of the highest because yeah, you can get it in like 11th, 12th, and it's good there, but if you're far enough away from first, like Big Blue with the item set, or Rainbow Road with the item set, or like DK Mountain, DK Summit with the item set, if you're in second, and first is used like that cannon glider, and you pick up that item box, there's a chance you get the star. And when that happens, it is so hype, and it's such a good item. And it's just very simple. I mean, you get invincibility, you get a minor speed boost, although I wish it was a bit faster. You get max acceleration, you get the ability to cut the off-road, so it's great for shortcuts. I feel like it's a little less viable for shortcuts compared to the mushroom, but all of its other abilities and its ability like dodge the shock just makes it such a good item. And even with like attacking, just ramming into people with the star is fun. I obviously don't really get a chance to do that as often because when I'm using the star, it's purely for a shortcut, but still a very fun item to use. The Fire Flower. Fire Flower is like in between Piranha Plant and Boomerang. Like, it's got the defensive capabilities, I guess, of the Boomerang. Maybe a little better because you can spam it behind you, but it's on a timer like the Piranha Plant, so it can be really annoying. But I think just from like a balancing perspective as well, it's just not very fun. Like, you just spam it over and over and over, spam, 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 and it doesn't really feel satisfying to hit someone. And whenever you get hit by it, you just feel like it's a bit unfair. I mean, like, obviously you can dodge the flame or the fire if you use your backhand and whatnot, but if you're getting spammed on like a straightaway with walls either side, there's not much you can really do, and you just get hit by it, and it feels just annoying. It's definitely not F. I wouldn't put it F, but it's definitely in and around the D tier. The Blue Shell. The Blue Shell, as an item, it's amazing because it helps balance the game. First place doesn't get as far out as they maybe would without the Blue Shell. With the Blue Shell, it just hits first place, but the biggest problem with the Blue Shell as an item is that you don't feel the impact where you're getting it. You always get the Blue Shell in like 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th in the lower, and it's like, I don't want this. I want this. I want this. I want this. I don't want this. The Blue Shell is just so mediocre, but it's better than the coin. I prefer, I mean, if you're in first, they're very different items. This one you're only getting higher up, this one you're only getting lower up, but they're both similar in the fact that they balance first place. They make it so when you're in first, you're not always safe, even if you're out of the pack. But it's worse than these ones, just because of the lack of defensive capabilities and where you get it. I think if you got this item further up, like 3rd or 4th, then it would be so much better. It would be like up here, just because then it's just an instant hit on first. But that isn't the case, which is unfortunate. The Super Horn. The Super Horn was controversial when it was added to Mario Kart 8. Obviously destroys the Blue Shell. Best defensive item in the game, but you have to time it, so it's a bit more difficult to use compared to like a red shell or a green shell or any of the triples. The Super Horn's amazing. It's like just such a good defensive item. You can break anything. It's just got the radius, so you can, if someone like spams something in front of you, you can use it and it's fine. You can hit players with it. It's not the most satisfying to use, I'll give it that, but it's definitely just the most versatile item. And if you get this in 1st or 2nd or 3rd or even 4th sometimes, you're happy with it. And like, if it was 2nd, 3rd, you might want to red shell more, but just because of how useful this is in 1st place specifically, definitely A tier. But I think Mushroom's better because of the shortcut potential. This is just a defensive item. They're kind of opposites in a way, but they both dodge the Blue Shell or break it. This is just purely for speed, this is purely for defense. Next up, the Golden Mushroom. I have mixed feelings about the Golden Mushroom, because I feel like the Golden Mushroom can be used for so many things, and it's like an amazing item for what it actually does when it comes to speed. It just cuts a massive bit of off-road. But the Star does it better. And I know the Golden, like, it lasts longer than the Star. It's faster, but you don't get the invincibility. If you get this in 10th, then there's a shock, you're just screwed. You can't do anything. And it's like these two where it's on a timer. I do think the biggest issue with the golden mushroom is that timer. Like, I think every single person in Mario Kart, when it comes to being at the back, can relate to getting the golden mushroom and then the bullet bill. And it's like if they were the other way around, it'd be perfect. You could use the bullet bill, catch up like 5 spots. But no, you got the golden mushroom, and so you only catch up like 1 or 2. And it's like just so underwhelming. And I feel like, I don't know what they would be able to do. They wouldn't be able to do anything with that, because that is what the golden mushroom does. It's just multiple speed boosts over and over. But I think A suffices. It's better than the super horn. I think it's slightly worse than the mushroom, just because of how it's used and where you can get it. Because like the mushroom, at least if you get like a good item behind it, or you need defense, you can just spam it and use it. This is better for shortcuts, but so much worse at everything else. We'll move on to the triple items now. We'll start off with triple bananas. Now, I think triple items are great. I think they work really well, and I think they just are interesting. Obviously, they're hindered by lag trails, but I don't think that's a fault of these. So I'll put it in B. I think it's worse than the boomerang, because the triple banana specifically, again, same issue with these. Even better defensively, but the attacking capabilities just aren't that interesting, and aren't very useful. So the boomerang is higher up, it's better. The green shells, triple greens, these are better than the boomerang, because of the more attacking, same level of defense as triple bananas. It's the same reason why the green shell's ahead of the banana, except it's triples. And then the triple red shells, they're above the mushrooms. They are amazing. Triple red shells is better than single mushroom by miles, just because if you're in a lower position, in 5th or 6th, and you use these, you just catch up so much. There's nothing, like, and even if they have like 2 bananas or 2 green shells or whatever, they can't do anything about the third one, the third red shell. It's very strong, it's very powerful for that. And obviously, the same defensive capabilities again, so... So it's definitely an interesting item to get. Next up, triple mushrooms. S tier. It's very, very simple why. It's just 3 mushrooms, you can use them whenever, you don't have any timers associated, you can just use them at multiple shortcuts, at one long shortcut. There's so many double shortcuts in the game where you need 2 mushrooms, like Cheeseland is a great example where you have that glider and you use a mushroom to the right and you hop on that glider, and then you soar down and take a second mushroom and hop on the next glider. Yeah, you can get 2 single mushrooms, but if you get triple mushrooms, not only can you do that shortcut, but you can have another item like the star or the golden or the bullet bill or whatever behind it, and that is very useful. So, it's deservedly an S tier item. The Crazy 8. I think it goes below the triple red shells, but above the single mushroom, because I feel like it's just a spammable star. Like, you can't really hold on to it. Because what are you going to do? You've got to keep your star, and then it gets stolen by someone else. So it's a revolving star. And then you've got 7 other things. Like, what is coin, blooper, green shell, banana, bomb-on, red shell, mushroom, and star, obviously. And it's like, because it's like so many items, you can't really do much with it. Like, obviously, like, blooper isn't going to be very useful in this revolving setting of 8 items. These 3 aren't going to be very useful. Mushroom, might as well just use the star, and the red shell isn't very useful either. So it's like, oh, and the coin. The coin, I think, is the best part of it, honestly, because if you're on like DK Summit, and you get this item, And DK Summit's like notoriously difficult to get coins on if you're taking the optimal routes. It just helped you get 2 extra coins and a star, and that's pretty useful. So it's definitely A. It's not higher than A. It's not lower than A. It's just A. It's very simple. The bow is also A, above the triple red shells. I think it's the ability to shock dodge, steal an item. I think it's worse off because of its steal ability, because its steal doesn't often do much. Like if you know first as a super horn, it's useful, and you're in second, but it shock dodges and it steals an item. The shock dodge is what you want, right? It's the same reason as to why the star is high up. It's just a very useful item to have, and I think this is the only item other than the feather, I'm pretty sure, that was added to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe specifically, and I think that's a good job of that. Now, the bullet bill and the shock, they're both S tier, they're both high S tier, but which do I think is better? Do I think the shock is better or the bullet bill? I'm going to say that the shock is better, slightly. The bullet bill is the best comeback item. When you're making a comeback, you want the bullet bill. It dodges the shock, it gives you a ton of speed. You can use bullet extensions to make them last for up to 12 seconds. You can hit other players on the track, and it's just the most useful item when it comes to invincibility and speed. But you'll notice that I said shock dodge, same with star, shock dodge, shock dodge. These 3 items, and this one to an extent, are just so important because of this item. The shock is the game changer. When the shock happens, the entire race gets flipped on its head, and it is the best item in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and by a very, very, very large margin. And I don't think it's even really too close, other than the bullet bill, of course. But it is interesting. I feel like the shock works better in Mario Kart World because it only affects the players in front of you. I think it's like worse as an item, but better for balancing. So I'd still rate it the best item in the game. And when I get Mario Kart World, I'll definitely do a tier list of items in that game. I've wanted to do that for a while. But yeah, if you've enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe. If you have any tips for my analysis or for anything else that came up in this video, please let me know, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Peace out.